I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Shark fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Hey, good morning to you out there. It is a beautiful morning here in South Florida. Got a little bit of activity going on, but generally speaking, we are having a beautiful day here in South Florida. Thank you for taking time to join in and just have some fun. Talk a little bit about fishing and some of the skills that are involved and some of the not so necessary skills that are involved. And one of the most important things is, for me, is when I go fishing, it's a very relaxing thing. It's a calming thing. So today's a special day. Of course, it's Mother's Day. So all of you ladies out there who are moms, a very happy Mother's Day to you. My mom is in heaven. Happy Mom's Day to you up in heaven, my mom. And if yours is still around, give them a hug and a kiss and make sure you tell them you love them today. Because there will come a time when it's just such part of life. There's going to come a time when they're not around anymore. So this morning I have Pam Ward. She's one of the top female kayak anglers. She's always so kind with her time and shares with us and comes on the show and gives us her perspective. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, sir. How are you? And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there and any other special lady that you may be an aunt, you may be a sister, you may be just a best friend. Happy Mother's Day to you, too, because you're very important as well.
Amen. Yep. And when you said Happy Mother's Day, I thought it was going to be directed at me, and I went, wait, well, I've been called. I've been called mother before. So, yes, it's indeed, it's a gorgeous day here. Now, I see a little bit of activity on the radar map, a little bit going on your side, not much. A little bit going on our side, but all of it is heading offshore on our side and heading towards the shore on your side. But just a couple of things. Some of it was around Clearwater and down a little bit south of that, but again, very minor. Other than that, it looks like it's going to be a great day. According to NOAA, the marine forecast is winds out of the south from 10 to 15 knots, seas around 2 feet. Going to be a light chop, slight chance of thunderstorms in the morning, but I think most of those are moving offshore, and a chance of showers later in the afternoon. So it's going to be a pretty day. According to the Parks and Recreation Department, our rip current risk today is moderate, and they are saying there is a few man-of-war out there. So if you're going to go to the beach, be aware there's a few man-of-war out there. And just understand how the rip current works. It's very straightforward. All that water comes in, it's got to go back out somewhere. If you look carefully, you'll see where it's going back out. You don't want to swim in that area. It's not fun. I've been caught up in it a couple of times. It's pretty scary. So anyway, we have, my goodness, all of the guests today, except for me and Robert, are ladies in honor of Mom's Day. So we're going to have a full load of ladies coming on today telling us about some of the things that they do. Let's see, who's coming? We've got Leiza Fitzgerald. She's with CCA of Florida. Carolyn Stash. She's with Atlas Trax. Betty Bauman with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. And then we're going to finish it off with Angelia. She's a Florida Salty Cowgirl down there in the Keys, down there in Isla Morada. So you went to Panama, you showed all them up, and then you came back here and you couldn't catch anything that would make you smile.
No, I caught fish. I'll post a little bit later. I caught fish. Nice fish. They weren't giant fish.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't. I got spoiled. I got some kings. I got some tuna, but they were smaller kings, smaller tuna.
Is that what it was like there in Panama? Everything was like on a larger scale?
I was blessed. Everything that I caught on Panama tended to be on the larger scale.
Nice. So.
Yep, it was great. It was so much fun.
I know you caught you sent me a picture of, I think it was a roosterfish.
Yep, I got a roosterfish the first day out, which was cool because I was the only one who caught a fish. So that was very cool. And then, like anytime I fish with friends or in a group or something like that, because 9 times out of 10, I'm the only or maybe the one out of 2 women that are fishing. I always have in the back of my mind, please, God, let me catch something. So, quote, unquote, I'm not that girl who couldn't catch a fish. You know, I don't want to be put in that classification as the bikini girl holding up a fish, not that anybody would ever want to see me in a bikini.
Hey, well, welcome to my world. I don't think you want to see me one either. But I know
it's so
you.
funny. Every now and then I'll tag the people who post the bikini pictures, especially if the fish is right under the girl's breast. And I'll go, "Where's my guy in a Speedo?" And people go, "Ooh, ah."
Oh my goodness! I have a friend of mine who is he's just nutty. He's just, and he wore one of those. What was that guy's name? It was, I can't think of the guy's name, but he wore this god awful thing. It just barely covers the important part, and then comes up. It looks like a bra as it comes up. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the guy's name. But
the swimmers wear those.
Oh my gosh! I don't. You know, for me, I don't like anybody seeing my body without clothing on. I don't care. so I can't imagine wearing something like that. Some of the stuff that I see now is really bizarre. Really, why do you bother wearing anything with some of the stuff? There's one little thing. It's just nothing but a cup. Nothing but a cup for the men to wear. How it stays there, I have no idea. I'm not asking. I don't want to know. It's just not something I would be looking forward to. Going to the beach and hoping to enjoy the water, and then having to see something like that. So we went fishing. You caught some fish, but they weren't on the grand scale like you expected. What's coming up for next week?
Well, they were still fun. I went out with Brian Nelly Friday with Pushing Waters, and he's a great guy. He always puts people on fish. And I took a friend of mine who wanted to learn to go offshore fishing, and I'm not a guide, so especially offshore, I don't want to be responsible for taking somebody out. You know, there's dangers with it. So anyhow, David got a monster tuna. He got a really nice tuna.
Oh, wow.
We were teaching him to jig. Yeah, and he did real well. I mean, I caught a ton of fish. I probably caught, I don't know, like 12 fish while I was out there. But they were just, average size. And that king that you see me holding, Brian just grabbed him by the tail. We didn't gaff him because I knew I was going to let him go. I just wanted to get a picture. So when he came between the 2 kayaks, when I was bringing him in, Brian just grabbed him by the tail. So he wasn't hurt. He was unhooked, quick picture, and then released. He was about, I don't know, like close to 40 inches.
Wow.
At the fourth.
That's not that small. It's not that big, but it's not that small. Jeez.
Yeah.
I would have taken him home and cooked him.
Yeah, I just, I had gotten some tuna, so I'd rather do the tuna.
Oh, yeah. If I had a choice, it would definitely be the tuna. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Now, I know this is silly, but I just want to make sure. This was on the Gulf Coast?
Yeah, it was right north of you. I was.
Okay. You're on the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're saying tuna, and I'm thinking tuna on the Gulf Coast. You'd have to go really far out, wouldn't you, in order to find tuna on the Gulf Coast? It'd have to be way out there.
No, I'm sorry. We were on your coast.
Yeah.
We're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came over. Yeah, I
at a Pompano?
Palm Beach.
Oh, Palm Beach. Oh, wow. So you didn't come see me.
I'm just gonna, because we went with a guide and it wasn't me.
Oh, I see.
I'm just gonna say we were between Pompano and Palm Beach.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
All right, I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you this time.
I haven't posted the kingfish yet. I'll do that. I'll do that today.
Yeah, I'll
and then yesterday I went up to Ozella and I got a slam.
Wow.
I was trying out a new lure, and I ended up with redfish, trout, flounder, and snook.
Oh my!
You know what else I tried Friday? Is I met Peter at the park. And Peter's been developing a lure system that kayaks that you can slow troll. Now, I didn't have the hooks, but I just put it in the water to use it to see how it would be an attraction and how it would run, and it ran really well. It looks good.
Cool.
We had a bunch of sargasso seaweed, so it got caught up a few times. but I'm going to play with it over here and see how it does. And then in June, I've got the Extreme, June 20th, I think, down in Pompano. So I'll use it there and see how it works.
Wow.
So I'm real excited for what Peter's developed.
Great. Well, I've got Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman magazine, and he's always another one that's always so kind to come on and share with us information. Good morning, Robert. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. As a matter of fact, I just sent you some pictures from the Habitat for Humanity tournament from yesterday down in Marathon.
Oh, great. How did that turn out?
It's the Mother's Day tournament they ran, and good. There's some pictures of Donald DeLeon and his brother in there with some 30 and 40-pound mahi that they caught. So
sweet.
Nice.
Wow. That's a nice size fish.
yeah, they're out there.
Couple of dinners there now.
And what's that?
That's a couple of dinners for me there.
Oh yeah. And I went down Wednesday and fished in Key Largo with the nice folks from Against the Grain Charters, Charlie Rogers and Melanie House, and we went out and just had a great day. Caught some grouper, caught some mutton snapper, a couple of yellowtail. We were in search of my 50-pound black grouper, and we had him on, but he broke us off. So.
Oh, wow. Now I know this is kind of silly, but I'm not clear. If you would have caught him, would you have been able to keep him, or no? You'd have to turn him loose.
Oh yeah, no, it's grouper season.
That's
now,
what I
so.
thought.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. That's what I thought. This is what I like about doing this
A lot
show.
of dinner, actually.
This is what I like about doing the show. I don't know it all, and I don't pretend to know it all, but I certainly learn. And there's always people that are coming on, and I'm learning from everybody. So it's one of the main things I like about the show. Is constantly learning from others. So you went down the Keys. You had a great time down there. That captain. Remember we talked about the captain that landed that was responsible for landing the big swordfish. You were gonna.
Nick Stanzik. He's in the current issue of the magazine.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Story on that.
That's pretty amazing.
Is in the magazine. Written by him, written by Captain Nick Stanzik.
Oh, my goodness. You think you could get him to come on? I'd like to hear the story.
I will certainly get a hold of him and see. He's a very busy guy.
I can imagine.
Obviously, he is. We refer to him as the swordfish whisperer. And if you're ever in search of a swordfish, that is the guy that you want to go fishing with. He's just got that dialed in like nobody else I've ever seen. So.
700.
Now, do they catch them mostly at night?
That's what I thought.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's a daytime sword fisherman.
I was always told it's night.
Yes,
it's a nighttime
you're
activity.
Correct. Yeah, most people fish for them at night. He is a daytime sword fisherman.
That's crazy.
And that one took almost 8 hours to get to the boat.
Amazing.
But it's funny if you read the story. He's halfway through it. He goes, and then I remembered I still had half a sandwich.
Oh my goodness.
So he's eating a sandwich while running the boat around trying to drag this thing in. So.
And at 700, and I think it was.
He also dismissed the entire theory on bananas because he had bananas on the boat, and there's a picture of him sitting with the swordfish eating a banana.
Well, what's the point of the banana? I don't understand.
Well, you're not supposed to bring bananas on the boat. They're supposed to be bad luck.
Oh, really?
Fishing.
I know.
So he destroyed that theory. There's a picture of him literally laying against this giant swordfish eating the banana. So
is that a something that's with him? I mean, or is that just a general thing where?
No. That's universal. Everybody will tell you never bring bananas on a boat. It's bad luck. So
wow, I am so ignorant. I had never heard that before. Silly me.
That's kind of like catching a fish on your first cast. That's bad luck too.
Oh, really?
The rest of the trip.
Oh. Wow. Today's learning day for me.
that's
all
how I should. That's,
all the angler superstitions.
Yes. Yep.
So Robert,
all in all, it was an absolutely beautiful day down there. We went out Wednesday, and it was just beautiful. Weather's been great. Obviously, it rained a little up here yesterday, but but the weather was absolutely beautiful. It was a great day. Just phenomenal to be out there on the water.
It is a special feeling when you're out there. It's for me, there's nothing else like it. It's I just can't compare it to anything else. It's just nothing else. It's just a very relaxing and a very humbling feeling in a way, because especially when you're out in the ocean, you realize what a small dot you are in comparison to everything around you.
Yeah, and you realize how good some of these captains are, like Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
They just, you've got this gigantic ocean, and you're going 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you come to a stop, and he goes, "Okay, drop it."
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Those are people that make it look easy. I've always found that regardless of what we're talking about, it could be golfing, it could be baseball, football, whatever that might be, the easier the person makes it look, the more professional that person is, the more, I can't think of the right word, not affluent, but the more professional. I just can't think of the right word. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly why I recommend anytime you're going to a place you're not familiar with, go out with a local captain.
Yeah.
At least once, if you're going to be fishing that area for any time or any length of time, because they just know, there's no replacement for local knowledge. And Charlie's been fishing the Key Largo and that area, Key Largo, Isla Mirada, since he was like 6 years old.
Wow.
And, he's been a captain for almost 20 years, and he's just got it dialed in. If you're fishing in Key Largo, find Charlie Rogers and Against the Grain Charters. Highly recommended. So,
I agree. Local knowledge is important. It'll cut your learning curve by hundreds of trips.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, just knowing what baits to use, what areas, just local methods.
I want to go back to the daytime fishing for swordfish. I had always heard that you want to go fishing for swordfish, you do it at night. I had a friend of mine that would go sword fishing out of the Keys at night, and believe it or not, they would take those glow sticks. They put the glow sticks inside the bait.
Yep, time on the line.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So when you were telling me that and when I read the story that he was daytime, I said, so again, it's like I'm constantly learning about all of these different things that. These aspects of fishing, how some of it is completely wrong. And my friend told me for years that the only time you're going to be able to catch them is at night. That's the only time that they feed is at night. No, obviously that's not right.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
That's 700 and some odd pounds, 780, I think, or 50 pounds. This thing was huge.
757, yep.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Broke the winch on his boat.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yep.
It looked like they weren't even going to be able to get it on for some couple of pictures I saw. They were having a heck of a time trying to get it.
Well, yeah, because it did. It broke the winch. About halfway up, it broke the winch, and they had to just sort of drag it into the boat. So.
Wow. What? A good problem to have. I caught a fish, but I can't get it in a boat.
Yeah. Need a bigger boat, a bigger winch. So.
And the old man in the sea.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Wow.
At least the sharks didn't eat this one, so.
Yeah, that is frustrating. Went out with a friend of mine many years ago, and we were just trolling in general. And we caught a couple of kings and caught a couple of mahis, and decided to move into where the drop is. This is down in the Keys, so we're probably maybe 3 miles offshore. I don't think much more than that. And started fishing down there. And the moment we started catching anything off the reef, the sharks come up with the fish. And it just kind of ruins everything.
Yep. It happens down there. Same with barracudas down there. They are.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
They will follow you. They will find you. They will steal your fish. So.
Yeah, and they'll follow. Yeah, I think you said they follow you. I've had that experience. Oh, that was irritating. Oh my gosh, was that irritating? We were fishing on a reef. There were only about 30 feet of water. Beautiful. It's so clear down there. And pulling up some nice snappers, a couple of groupers, some yellowtail. And I think it was my brother, one of the anglers anyway, he's pulling up a fish and pulls up a head. There's nothing left. And we looked at each other and said, time to leave. And we left, and I'm not kidding you, we had to we cruised for 10 or 15 minutes, and we cruised at probably I don't know, 14 knots, 12 knots, 14 knots. So we had to go at least a couple of miles from where we were. Didn't set the anchor down. We're just kind of drifting. First fish that came up, fine. Second fish that came up, fine. Third fish, just ahead.
Yeah, well, we were on about 25 feet of water getting some bait. We were getting some speedos and some ballyhoo. And Charlie looks down and he goes, well, this isn't going to work out. I said, why is that? He goes, take a look. There's 6 barracudas sitting behind the boat.
Oh, my God.
Not
Yeah,
one,
they're smart.
Not 2, but 6 of them sitting behind the boat waiting.
And I've had them.
Try and catch some bait.
I've had them get up and they literally up under the boat where you can't see them. And so when you bring your fish up, you look around, you don't see anything. You bring your fish up, and they just wait there. And when they get to the right spot, boom, we'll leave you the head. We'll take the rest. Thank you very much.
Yeah, dolphin are the same way here in the bay, especially if you're grouper fishing. They won't touch your bait at all. They wait till you bring the grouper up and then snatch it and take off with it. But they grab it by the tail, by the midsection of the tail. So it's like they're just peeling line off your reel, and you've got your reel in, lockdown drag.
Wow.
And it's like, to cut it off.
Yeah, wow. You're not going to stop one of them. So
yeah. That's like a torpedo there. Literally like a torpedo. My goodness. Well, Robert, it has gone by pretty quickly. Before we go, any special things going on that you know of that you want to share?
Well, yeah, it's time to send in stuff for the next issue of the magazine. And you can send all of your ads, articles, videos, pictures, or whatever to pages@flfishmag.com. And you can find the magazine at www.flfishmag.com.
Thank you, my friend, and God bless you. Wish you a wonderful day. If you have a better half.
Guys, happy Mother's Day to everybody, and hope everybody has a wonderful day.
Happy Mom's Day to your better half, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again real soon, my friend. God bless.
You have a great day.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Leiza Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Brittany's face is so stupid and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it.
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 Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the I.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, it is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host, Riscala, and my co-host, Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida, always so generous with her time to share with me, and I greatly appreciate that. It's Mother's Day, a great day for many of you out there who have your moms still with you. Give them a hug and a kiss. Tell them you love them. Mine is in heaven. I miss her terribly, and there's nothing like a mom. What can you say? We devote a one day to her a year just for being a mom. Anyway, my next guest, I'm waiting for them to call in. That's would be Leiza Fitzgerald. She's with the CCA of Florida. Don't know. It's usually she's on by now, but hopefully we'll hear from her in just a moment. Any of the activities you have planned for the rest of the day today, or are you going to be queen for the day there, my friend?
I was thinking about fishing this morning and being off by radio time, but I decided after the last couple weeks I've had just to kind of sleep in, and yeah, I got some housework to do. Yay, Mother's Day! I'm cleaning house.
Well,
I thought I heard somebody beep in. No.
Yeah, no, I didn't pick up.
Oh, okay.
It's Mom's Day. You're supposed to be the one who's getting treated. You're not supposed to be the treater. You're supposed to be the treatee.
That's okay. That's okay. I've got my husband's out playing golf, and my son's out with some friends enjoying the morning. So we'll probably do a really nice barbecue this afternoon.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
That's what I got planned. I got my a couple of my daughters coming over, and they're moms. So we're gonna celebrate today with a little barbecue action. Get the charcoals lit up, and I'm a charcoal kind of guy. I don't do the gas. So we'll get the barbecue going, and we'll do some barbecuing. And you mentioned you're going to be on this side of the state. When is that happening?
No, I did that on Friday.
No, I'm saying you're coming
there on Friday, and then in June.
In June,
we've
okay.
We've got the Extreme Kayak Tournament. That's a blast. That's up to almost 200 kayakers. And no two kayaks are rigged the same. So if you're into kayaking at all, come out and see how everybody does that. The launch is usually somewhere between 6:30 or 7 in the morning. So you see all the kayaks lined up on the beach, ready to take off and go. And during the day, he also has paddleboard tournaments, and a lot of vendors are out there. It's really interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
And that's off Pompano Beach, June 20th.
It's just a one-day thing?
Yeah, he has two parts. It's the next one will be in July, so it's he calls it SummerSlam 1 and 2.
And one of if I remember correctly, one of them is just for kayaks, right?
This is just for kayaks. The tournament,
or both of them.
The fishing tournament part of it is just for kayaks, and the paddleboard is kind of a race.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm waiting for Leiza to call in. I don't understand what happened, but hopefully we'll hear from her before before her slot is up, because
Yeah,
I'd like to get an update on CCA.
Yeah. So if you're interested at all in, offshore fishing, this is a great way to meet a bunch of people. He also has a fundraiser the Thursday before the tournament, and that's at Brews on Federal Highway in Pompano. And it's a great fundraiser for the children. Come out there. You can meet everybody. You ask any questions, we'll all answer them. There's nothing secret about fishing. And also, some of the guys that participate are guides. And as Robert was saying, if you're trying to learn something new, please go out with a guide, especially offshore. We took somebody who felt that he was in really good shape and ready to rock and roll, and much my junior, and took him out Friday. And long story short, he caught fish. He did well, but he almost didn't make it back in.
Wow.
He had a peddler similar to mine, but a little different one. And he thought his legs were stronger than they were. And after he got back in, his comment was, "Pam, you guys make it easy. I just thought I could get out there and do it." He said, "I'm spent. I'm spent."
My goodness. Well, I think we have Miss Leiza on the phone with us. Good morning there, Miss Leiza.
Well, good morning, Riscala. How are you?
We're doing good. I have Pam on with me as well.
I am apologizing for being a little tardy. We're out releasing fish this morning in Brevard County and got a little tangled up. So we're now on the phone lines with you all. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Oh, and the same to you, my dear. A happy Mom's Day to you and all of the moms that you know. And I am so happy to hear that, again, more fish being released. This is great. I love it.
Yes, it's exciting. We're tagging wild-caught redfish on the east coast of Florida.
Wow.
And wrapping up the Brevard County fish count for them. They're a destination location, and they get a total of 8 tagged redfish in Brevard County, whereas the majority of the other East Coast counties only get 4 on average.
So how did they rank so high?
So I work and give the opportunity to the Economic Development Council and the Visitors Bureaus the opportunity to partner with STAR in order to do things like getting additional fish and those types of things. And so this was one of the opportunities was to work with their Economic Development Council, and then they bring our awards ceremony to their area, and we release additional fish there. So their Economic Development Council and Visitors Convention Bureau felt like it was a significant opportunity for them to make people aware of how great Brevard County is for fishing.
Sweet. All right, so you mentioned, to those who may not be familiar with what we're talking about, you mentioned tagged fish. What's the significance of tagged fish?
Well, first and foremost, the tagging of these fish allow us to gather dependent data on the fish, how large they've grown, how quickly they've grown, and since 2015, we've gathered a significant amount of scientific data that we provide to other groups. And in order to do that, these tagged redfish, if they're recaptured by someone who is a CCA member and registered for the competition, and Riscala and Pam, it's very inexpensive to get into the 101-day competition. For a non-member, it's only $75, and for a member, it's only $40. So you get involved in the competition. When you catch a tagged redfish, you have the opportunity, if you are registered, you have your choice of a brand new GMC pickup truck, a Contender, Pathfinder, Carolina Skiff, Hughes Redfisher, or a Relentless aluminum flats boat. And they're all powered by Yamaha. The Contender is sitting on a Rolls axle trailer. The Pathfinder is macked out with Minn Kota and Huntingbird electronics and trolling motors. So, I mean, most of the packages are valued at over $50,000, but this is an incentive to get people out involved in fishing over the summertime, at providing us information. They become citizen scientists. And then we also get them involved with CCA, and we ask them, this is a catch photo release, so it's an education on conservation.
This is what I love about your program. Everybody wins. I think you're the one. Correct me if I'm mistaken. You have a category that is for nothing more than trash. Isn't that with you? Don't you do that?
Yes. We have what's called the Costa Kick Plastic Trash Division, and we've enhanced that division a little more, so you'll love it. That division is presented by Waxhead Sun Defense, and we give $1,500 cash to those the anglers that pick up garbage along the shoreline. They have to pick up a 5-gallon bucket and submit it into the competition. They take a picture of it with the official West Marine measuring device, which they can pick up at any West Marine store, Tampa Fishing Outfitters, T.A. Mahoney's, any of the O'Neill's, any of the fishing stores, gyms, Gator gyms, any of those places, they can pick them up. They take a picture of it and submit it. At the end of the competition, we do a random drawing of all the entries, and we give away $1,500 cash. But here's the little caveat in this trash division this year. Youth anglers who need community service hours, they can go and pick up garbage. They take a photograph of it, properly dispose of it, and every 5-gallon bucket becomes 30 minutes of community service hours for them.
Wow.
So they would submit their community service log to my email, and they can find that on the website. They submit their community service log. I pull up their name, and it will show me the number of 5-gallon buckets that they've submitted, and then I will sign off on their community service hours.
Again, everybody wins. This is what I like about your programs. Everybody wins, and that's the kind of thing.
Everybody wins.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I love promoting because, in a way, kind of, it's selfish. If everybody wins, I'm part of everybody, right? So,
Exactly. Well, we've got a youth scholarship division, $100,000 in college scholarships, and that's presented by
Wow.
Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Wow.
We have 2 $25,000 scholarships that we give away that make up that $100,000, and 10 $5,000 scholarships. And kids only have to catch ladyfish, a jack, sheep's head, trout, redfish, snook, dolphin, kingfish, grouper, or tarpon, any one of those species, and they can submit a fish daily. I have kids that go out every day during the summer. We're getting them off their Xboxes and getting them carrying tackle boxes.
Yep. That's great.
So there's lots of opportunities to get people on the water. Pam, you fish with us. We have a kayak, the Old Town Kayak Division. I mean, there's so many cool ways to participate, and it's not just tagged redfish. It's all the inshore species, snook, trout, and redfish. And, we have a lot of people who are, disappointed that there's a closure of keeping fish in Southwest Florida. Well, what better way to make your fishing more rewarding this summer than to catch a fish, take a picture of it, release it, and then have your shot at $500,000 in prizes.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I thank you for bringing that up because we haven't brought that up. But yeah, basically, what is it, from just north of Pasco or just south of Homosassa? There is no harvesting for redfish, trout, or snook at all.
Snook. That's correct, and that began yesterday, May the 11th, and it will run through next May, and that is from the Pasco-Hernando border down to Collier County. And I can tell you, Pam, I've been doing speaking engagements all over Southwest Florida to fishing clubs, and there are so many fishing clubs that did not know for the last 6 months that redfish and snook were closed.
I had people who didn't know that they couldn't keep trout over 20 inches.
Yeah, I
In fact,
didn't.
I ran into people yesterday that were, hey, we both got our over 21-inch trout. And I went, do you realize it's illegal to hold on to those? And, I just went and given you a heads up.
Wow.
It's crazy. That's one of the things when I speak that I tell people, know your regulations for the area that you are fishing in. If you're going to a new area, take a few minutes before you go and look up the FWC regulations for your area, because lack of knowledge won't get you out of getting a ticket or getting a fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that they would do a little flyer or something like that for the tackle shops. I think that would help immensely.
Yeah. It would, and I know they send emails to everybody who has their fishing license, but I don't know that electronic media is always enough. They do have their magazines, but those are quarterly, so they don't get updated regularly. But I think it's people like us. It's you, Riscala. It's you, Pam. It's me, going out and making people aware of what's going on in our fishing community. I'm over now in Brevard County, and the challenge here for me is I'm going to some beautiful areas that I've fished for the past 20 years, and I'm heartbroken to see what I see all over the state of Florida when I'm releasing fish. And if we don't get involved as an individual doing something, it doesn't matter what organization you get involved with, check out the organization and make sure they're a valid group, but get involved and make your voice and your actions heard, volunteer, do whatever you can, because if we don't start now, in 10 years, we're going to be water challenged and fish challenged to enjoy what we've been given.
I agree. In the short time that you've seen it, imagine what it's like for me. I grew up in Coral Gables. It's a little town inside of Miami, and we had saltwater canals there. We would literally go fishing with nothing more than a bucket and a fishing rod and a tackle box. We'd get our own bait when we got down there, and we could catch just about anything you catch in the bay, we could catch in these canals. I went back there 7 or 8 years ago, and it was heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. It was filthy. It was disgusting. I don't think there's any of the fish that we caught even living in that area anymore. Some of the fish I saw I couldn't even recognize. Didn't even recognize. Didn't even know what it was. So yeah,
it's a shame where we release. We excuse me. We walk down to the shoreline to release fish. We go by boat, and the amount of garbage and filth is just staggering. And
wow.
The quality of the water, we all contribute to that. I can tell you many of the areas, Brevard County is one of them, they are so engaged in making sure that they're cleaning up the Indian River Lagoon and doing the things that are necessary.
Great.
We need more of our counties getting engaged. Sarasota is really stepping up their water quality from their sewage and septic treatment. So there's a lot of counties that are really starting to see that they have to do something, and they have to do it quickly.
So this is what I like about CCA of Florida. You have a tournament. It's not a day or it's not a week. It's 101 days. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
And during that period, which is 101 days is a little over 3 months, right? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, a little over 3 months. During that time, people who are have invested in being a member and have enrolled in the tournament itself have the opportunity to win some heavy-duty prizes. Not only that, but they have the opportunity to help clean the environment and be rewarded for it. Now, see, that's the kind of stuff that, we're talking about what you saw there as you witnessed as you were going through the water, how dirty it was, how all the junk that's in the water. That is I'm not going to say a solution, but that is certainly a way to help the environment by going and having something like a tournament, a fishing tournament, that has, the only one that I know of, has a category for nothing more than helping clean the water.
Exactly.
I love promoting that. I really do. Anybody who knows me knows that I totally believe first of all, we're on a peninsula. We got water three ways around us, right, the left, and the bottom. Our bodies are made out of 75% water. If you don't take care of the water on the outside, what do you think is going to happen to your body? So again, it's kind of a selfish thing,
Well, and I can tell you, one of the things that we're trying to do is get youth engaged early. We've got a lot of youth that have never fished before, that are fishing our competition because of the college scholarships, and now they're engaged in the trash division. And we have several youth that have coordinated their own cleanups for Star over the summer with their friends and with their kids from the school. And they're picking up garbage in their communities and submitting them to us and doing their own trash cleanups just because of their involvement in Star. So that's the stuff that gives me goosebumps and makes me think we're doing the right things. The proceeds from this competition go back into habitat restoration. Our organization over the last 10 years, in collaboration with our partners, have put $4.5 million back into habitat restoration in the coastal waters of Florida.
Wow.
So that's offshore, nearshore reefs, shoreline stabilization, oyster bed renourishment, seagrass planting, mangrove replanting, and all of the things that we do to maintain and sustain the habitat and to improve the habitat. That's what our organization does. And we have some, in the Indian River Lagoon, we have some processes now where we're listening to spawning trout at the big moons so that we can find out the areas that these spawning trout are congregating. And we're finding where there are still minimal grass areas in the Indian River Lagoon is our largest area for these spawning trout. And we're losing those spawning trout aggregates. And so that's research that goes on through our organization and that we fund. We also fund clams in the Indian River Lagoon and in Tampa Bay. And these clams are filter feeders and they're cleaning the water. So the more oysters and clam projects that we as CCA fund and get involved with, we're helping clear the waters and clean the waters. It's just, we need more members. We need more volunteers. And you can volunteer to be involved with our organization without being a member.
Oh, great.
But we would love to have, that's how you find out about the events. You can go to our website and find out about all the different really cool events that we do. And we do some really unique happenings. And we have a month-long trash cleanup that's coming up, and that is all electronic. So instead of having to go to a site where you actually have to go physically meet someone and go through the cleanup process, you can get on the app. It's the iAngler app, and you can actually clean up your area and submit and still win prizes in that as well.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we're completely out of time, but before we go, you mentioned a website, but you didn't give the website address, so let's do that now. What is the website address?
The STAR website address to get involved in CCA Florida STAR is ccaflstar.com. If you want to join CCA, it is ccaflorida.org. You can go on the website there and find out all the different information and things that CCA Florida is doing.
What does CCA stand for?
Coastal Conservation Association.
Okay, so
and we're a nationwide organization, 19 chapters throughout the United States.
So if somebody does a search for coastal, what is it, Coastal
Conservation Association.
I guess it would come up that way as well.
Yes, it will.
Well, I want to thank you, Leiza. I wish you a wonderful day. Happy Mom's Day to you as well. And
Well, thank you. And
and-
I'm glad that your health is getting better and that you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
well.
a little bit of a
My
scare.
thoughts and prayers, Riscala.
Thank you. A little bit of a scare there, but it's amazing. Technology is amazing. God bless you, my friend. Wonderful day to you. Miss Pam, you want to say goodbye?
Yes, you too. You and Pam. Pam.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, babe.
Let's go.
Yes, ma'am. I'm headed to Crystal River next week. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
All right, my friends, it's that magic moment. Here we go.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
definitely.
word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself.
What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying, that's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle situations.
Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick, Bauman Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bauman Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bauman Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Some fish
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, my friends, it is the Fish Florida Show, and an honor and a privilege to have you listen in and to be with you this morning. Happy Mother's Day to each of you out there. It is if you've got your mom and she's still around, give them a hug and a kiss. Tell them you love them, because my mom is in heaven and I miss her even more now than ever, especially on days like today. So enjoy them while they're here, and I promise you won't be sorry. So today's show, just kind of a mention, there's only two males that are going to be on the show today. One is me, and the other one was Robert. The rest of the guests today are ladies, and did that on purpose. That is in honor of Mother's Day, and all those special ladies out there that help us guys that like to go fishing. And instead of beating us over the head and saying, no, I want to do something else, they actually come out with us and enjoy it, and it makes it that much better for everybody. So I've got Pam Worth. She's one of the top female kayak anglers with me this morning. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's always a pleasure, always. And Carolyn Stash, she's with Atlas Trax, and something that has been happening more and more here in the South Florida area, and people are kind of really, to be honest with you, just kind of fed up with it, and that is the theft of water vehicles in general, but there seems to be boats right now are the target. One group has been caught. A group of 3 men was caught, but that doesn't seem to have slowed down the problem. These people are brazen. They go into people's homes, right into their driveways, and remove boats in the middle of the night. And some of these boats are, you think, I described this to you, and people think, well, it's a little boat they can barrel down the street. No, some of these boats are like 28 feet, 32 feet long. It's just not something you can hook up to and tear down the road with. So what do you do when you have something like that? You get a hold of somebody like Carolyn, because Carolyn can help protect what you have. And this is another something that I support totally, because I've had the feeling of having something taken from me that someone else had no right to, and it's not a good feeling. And if you can avoid that in any way, then my advice is do it. One of the ways you can do that is with Carolyn's product. Good morning, Miss Carolyn.
Well, good morning, Riscala. Good morning, Pam. Thanks for having me on, and happy Mother's Day as well to everyone out there, even up in heaven, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. But you made a good point on that. There was a big bust in Melbourne last week, and it's getting so involved with law enforcement that they have to actually get helicopters up with infrared cameras.
Yeah.
So they are actually wasting so much time and effort and money just to stop some of these guys that are running around marinas or yards or houses now in the middle of the night, like you had mentioned earlier. So perimeter protection of whatever that asset is, whether it be a vehicle, you've had yours stolen 3 times, or a boat in your driveway, or jet skis, is really important. And, folks get these cameras, Ring camera, which are all great, and, we've got them in our home. But once that person drives out of your driveway, it's doing nothing. All you saw was what they were wearing.
Yep.
So, you really need some type of tracking device that's easy to install, that's affordable, that can be put on these boats. And more people are doing that, which is something that just needs to be done.
Here's what I've learned so far. A lot of these thefts, what they do is they go out and they steal the truck first. First they go out and they find themselves a heavy duty, like a Ford F-350 or something like that, dualies on the back. And they'll case that area. They'll figure out which truck it is they're going to take. They'll take the truck, and at that time when they take the truck, right after that is when they go get the boat. So in theory, if you had something like Atlas Trax in your truck, and they took off with your truck, you'd know where the truck is. You could call the police and go, hey, my truck is at so-and-so and so-and-so. Before they get to the boat, you could probably have them apprehended, even before they get to the boat. And the reason being is that Carolyn has different ways of reaching you if something happens. Carolyn, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you can set it up so if something moves, right, the alarm will go off.
Yeah, well, we have a couple different layers. So the GPS tracking devices are set that when the asset moves approximately 300 feet and keeps moving every 10 minutes, it will email or text the owner of that vessel. So they'll know if they get a few emails back to back that asset's moving, and that message comes with a link to a map with details exactly where it is, the latitude, the longitude, the time of the message. And then those messages or maps can be forwarded to law enforcement that they can self-track as the device is going down the road. And hopefully, you catch them within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, when they're just driving and aren't even aware of that.
Right.
So yes, and then of course we jump in if someone calls and says their asset's stolen. We kind of sit and self-track it with them as well. But you were even mentioning how crappy these guys are. There was a story not long ago that some guys were posing as a lawn cutting service actually cut somebody's yard to case out the neighborhood to then go back and steal the vessel.
Wow.
And that was up in the Palm Beach area.
Yeah, I think that was not too far from me, if I'm not mistaken. I vaguely remember something like that.
And that's a lot of pre-planning to figure out how to come back and get something that doesn't belong to them. And as we know, when you get to, I have a customer now who had a vessel stolen and it was recovered, and they took everything. And now he's in the painful task of rebuilding something, a 39-foot boat that he doesn't even want because somebody else touched it and damaged it.
Yeah.
So the feeling of being violated, whatever it might be, is, we want to try and keep that as a minimum. But even the trackers for safety, you and I have talked, it's coming into boating season. Folks are taking long runs to the Bahamas. They can use the same tracking device to show their family that they made it there or where they are they overdue. They can look and see where they are. So many benefits at this time of year for the entire East Coast.
Now, a lot of people may not be familiar, but I know that you have different kinds of tracking devices, but I know one of them is about the size of a credit card. It's thicker than that, but it's about the size of a credit card, and it could easily fit in somebody's back pocket, right?
Sure, yeah, that's the one we use mainly. It's 2 inches by 3 inches by a half inch tall. It fits in my pocket when I, go out and do some things that are unusual hobbies, just so I have them, whether I go out skiing or I'm out hiking somewhere. So it's good to take it. Search and rescue groups, FEMA will use that when they're out of cellular range or they cut the cell towers to walk around for search and rescue. Very, very simply to figure out, where are the water trucks in relation to the next water trucks. They can have all of those vehicles on one map and see 10 trucks or 56 snow groomers. So it's really detailed, the mapping, if somebody has an application. If you have two boats or a boat and a jet ski, you can have them both on one map and see them at any time where the kids might be. Is it still at the yard? Is the marina service technician using it when they're not supposed to? So many different things. Charter boats are using them to manage the hours run on their vessels as far away as Cabo, and we have Indonesian commercial fishing fleets that use the trackers. And recently we talked about icebergs. We're tracking 150 icebergs for current and warming trends.
How crazy. Wow. Technology is amazing. I know that you were one of the people who were praying for me when I had a little episode with my heart a while back. But I sat on an operating table and watched them work on my heart. Technology is truly amazing, some of the things that we can do. And this is an amazing piece of technology that we're talking about here.
Right, and I'm very excited because we also have the alarm system that initially was separate. So the alarm system has a siren. It can go on anything, a boat, a little trailer in your backyard, a storage unit. It comes with a 60-foot cable that you can actually wrap through your fishing gear if you just wanted to park your boat behind your house for a short time and cool off, around a dock, things like that. And now the tracker, someone has our tracker and the alarm, and somebody opens a door on their boat or tries to steal electronics or tries to pull it off the dock, this tracker's smart enough now to email or text the client. So even before they get out of the driveway, if you're at work, the tracker can now, when working with the alarm system, can email you that somebody just unwrapped your cable wrap, what's the next step to taking your boat. So we're pretty excited about that. And, for $450 for the tracker and $1 a day for the service, it's peace of mind is just amazing.
I think that to me it's priceless because I've gone through the experience and it's not a pleasant feeling at all. The other part of this is how many boats have I seen, like just in the last week or so? Again, a boat stolen from somebody's property. Some of these people don't want the boat. They want everything but the boat. So the person will end up getting their boat back, and like you mentioned, don't even want it anymore. The motor's been ripped out, and when they go to take this stuff out, they're not careful. Let's make sure that you don't rip the fiberglass. They rip it out. They just damage the heck out of the boat, and it's. Then you have to deal with all of the negativity of, well, you got to deal with if you have, hopefully you have insurance. If you don't, then you're really up the creek without a paddle. And so you have to deal with the insurance, and you have to deal with the police reports. Then now that you've been marked as a victim, the next time you go buy insurance, it may go up again because you had to file a claim against the insurance company. All of that can somewhat be possibly avoided by having something like what Carolyn has. And for the minimal investment that it takes to give you a peace of mind, to me, it's priceless. Carolyn, I greatly...
In most cases, even insurance companies will offer an annual discount on their premiums. Even if it's a small 24-inch boat with twin engines, I've got a customer that gets $250 off a year, and that almost pays for the yearly cost.
Wow.
So it's amazing. There's so many benefits to having something like that. And if you register a boat in the state of Florida and you have a GPS tracking device, you get a discount on your annual registration for the boat. So you can find that information on the state of Florida website.
I love it. That's great. All right, we got to go. But before we go, if you would, the website is what?
AtlasTrax.com, ATLASTRAX.com. You can reach out to me 24/7 on my mobile number, which is area code 954-465-3743. And lots of great stories on our Facebook page, which is also Atlas Trax. So if anyone needs a short-term rental or anything like that, give us a call.
Well, I wish you a happy Mother's Day to you and those that you love. And if your mom's still around, give her a hug and a kiss and tell her you love her. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you, my friend.
All right, Pam. You got it, Pam. Have a nice day, you guys.
Take care. I'll catch you later.
Okay, Pam. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Carolyn Stash. She's with Atlas Trax, and it's Atlas Trax, Trax, Trax.com. We're going to cut out on the commercials because we are running a couple of minutes behind, and I don't want to keep my next guest waiting any longer, and that is Betty Bauman. She's with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. Betty, happy Mother's Day to you, my friend.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we had a great day celebrating Mother's Day weekend on the beach yesterday with mothers and teens. I'll get into that when you tell me after your break or
No, we're not going. We're going to pass the break. We're going to go directly to you because we're already running a couple of minutes behind.
Super. Yeah, we had about 18. We had mothers, teens, mothers and daughters. We had couples meet on the beach for our Ladies Let's Go Fishing surf fishing clinic in Palm Beach County. So we were at Juneau Beach, and it was a beautiful day, and we had some nice fish caught.
So tell us a little bit of what kind of fish did you catch?
One of the ladies, Nancy, caught about a 10-pound permit.
Oh, my gosh.
The star of the day. She had a little struggle getting it in because it was with the waves and everything. It was almost overpowered her reel capacity. And we had about 6 pompano, a snook, 3 whiting, a look down, and a couple of UFOs. They look like perches or something.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious. You're shore fishing, right? Offshore? I'm literally on the shore, but fishing from the shore, right?
Yeah, it was actually Juneau Beach, and first we got everybody rigged up, and we had Pompano Rich and his assistant, Jeff Doherty, came. Allison Statner was there to help them. And then they all spread out with their sand spikes, so with mostly Pompano rigs. Some people casted. We did have a snook release as well. And we fished until noon, and then afterwards we met for lunch. And it was just a beautiful day on the beach and really fun. And, you know, a few people didn't catch fish, but that's how it is with surf fishing. You know, you can't move 16 people into another location. Mm-hmm. But they learned how to do it. So the next time, you know, they know how to put the rig on, how to cast it out, the pyramid sinker, the whole rigmarole. So they can go catch fish on their own. And that's the whole premise behind Ladies Let's Go Fishing is to, you know, learn skills that you feel more comfortable trying it yourself or fishing in the future.
I love it. People sharing knowledge that they have. You know, we talked earlier about if you're going to go to an area, find yourself a local guide because it helps you break that learning curve so very quickly, drastically. So here we have people who, again, it's along the same line. If you're not familiar with fishing and you might feel intimidated, this is a way to become familiar with the different kinds of equipment, the different ways people can go fishing. And that way it doesn't seem so intimidating to you. And you're doing it with other ladies, so everybody's learning at the same time. You're being taught sometimes by guys, but a lot of times by ladies. Because Pam has been, I think you were involved in this one time, right?
Yes, I've helped out, and she's so sweet. She's invited me back in September when they come into Tampa.
Oh, you're a wealth of knowledge and a great inspiration for these ladies. I mean, they come from all over. I mean, we had people drive the whole way across the state. They drove up from the Keys.
Wow.
And we just picked a spot on the beach, hoping that there would be fish. The weeds weren't that bad. You know, with the wind, we were worried about a lot of weeds in the surf. There were some. But it was a beautiful day and a great learning experience. So, yeah, we'll be seeing you in Tampa when we do our inshore seminar. That's September 7th and 8th. And then I have a couple more coming up in the Keys that also people probably drive from. Well, they'll be flying in for this because they have a chance to learn, go fishing on charter boats. And the one in June is during prime mahi season, so they'll have a chance to maybe catch multiple mahi. That's
exciting. That's my favorite fish. I got to admit that happens to be my favorite. There's a lot of them that come close, but that is really the chicken of the sea to me. You can bake it, you can barbecue it, you can fry it, you can do it's pretty hard to mess it up.
Oh, and they're fun to catch. They show themselves. They dance. They jump. When you get a school around, it's just so exciting. The whole strategy behind it, and this will be something special for them to learn. A few years ago, I caught a 60-pounder at a ladies' let's go fishing trip, and this is after we already had 35 in the boat. Wow. And we were done fishing by noon. We couldn't fit another fish in the cooler. We were like, okay, that's enough. Let the rest of them stay in the sea.
My goodness, 60 pounds, that's got to be a seriously big fish.
He was hard to hold up for a picture. I had to put my hand underneath his gills and then hoist him up. I almost gave up. There was no way I could hold him horizontally. I caught him on a spinning reel.
Oh, my.
30-pound test.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Good job.
I'm sure that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there were a lot of chances to lose that fish, especially at the gaff. If they had missed the gaff, that fish would have been gone.
Man. Wow. Right. So these are the things that, if you're of the female persuasion and you want to get involved, some of you guys out there, you go fishing and you don't take your special person with you. You're missing out. You really are. And it may be because they feel intimidated. And this is an opportunity for you to get them involved, and there's no pressure. Like I said, some of the times the instructors are other ladies like Pam. There's no pressure. And there's all kinds of learning that can happen. And what happens when you take your better half with you when you go fishing, to me, the experience becomes exponentially better. You can't put a figure on it. But if you're one of those guys that, for me, for many years, I was married at the time. I didn't take my wife. And she just didn't want to, I guess she felt intimidated. She just didn't want to go fishing for whatever reason. And a friend of hers who loved fishing, complete opposite of her, and her husband came out with me one day and it started her. And once she got over that little hump of, everything is new and I don't know anything about any of this stuff, she enjoyed it. She had a good time. So it's an opportunity for other ladies to do this. It's the kind of stuff I like to promote. It's people helping people. I love it. That's great.
I was really excited to see. We had some guys come to the surf fishing clinic. And then when they want to go out, with their wives or their kids, it takes a team effort to do this sometimes. So it's really great to see, and we do welcome them. It's funny, you would wonder, guys taking ladies, let's go fishing, and they wonder that too. I tell them, don't worry. We don't discriminate. We want families to fish together.
Amen. To me, that's all part of my growing up. And I know I've said this many times. In my growing up, it was fishing that was really a vital part of our family. My dad loved it. My mom loved it. Because my parents loved it, it kind of rubbed off on the kids. My brother and I loved it. And we looked forward when my dad would say, "Hey, listen, Sunday," he would tell us on a Monday, Sunday, we're gonna go to Naples. We lived in Miami at the time. We're gonna go to Naples. So we would plan trips a week in advance. It was almost like Christmas to me. Saturday night, I couldn't sleep. If it was Sunday that we were going to go, I just had the hardest time sleeping because I knew the next day was going to be so exciting. We were going to have such a great time, and it was always like that. So when you're talking about the family, absolutely, there's an all-out attack against the family. It's been that way for a long time here. Unfortunately, that's the reality that we live in, and anything that we can do to hold each other together, to bridge that relationship, to make it stronger. I'm all for that, and this is one of those things.
Right, and I mean, when TV is on, you'd only get to talk during the commercials, and now with so many channels, they switch the channel, and there's just no communication between that and the electronics and the phones.
Yep.
I mean, it's changed our society where people don't really personally interact. They'd rather text people. Well, that's one way. Fishing is two ways. Yeah. Working together, cheering together, crying together, angst together.
Getting excited together. I'd share this with you. The first time that I took my friend and his wife out, and mine decided to come with us, and she caught I can't think of the oh, Lord have mercy.
Fish.
No, she caught anyway, she was so excited that the excitement rubbed off on my wife. My wife wanted to get excited like that. So they see it, people see that. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. And they want to get involved. So I'm all for what you do, and I greatly appreciate that you do it. I greatly appreciate that Pam does it as well. You brought up something, and I think we talked about this once before, but I'm not sure. Kids, moms can bring their kids to this thing, right?
Right, and we had some teens on the beach, and it was just, a unique way to celebrate Mother's Day weekend, and that's the highlight of their Mother's Day weekend, with them fishing with their kids, and they caught some fish too.
Yeah, and the other thing nice about what Betty does is that her classes are really question friendly, and there is no bad question. She encourages people to ask questions, and I think sometimes women kind of get intimidated by this. I think women ask a lot more questions, more detailed questions than men do, and it makes the learning curve a lot quicker. So her classes are so friendly and so inviting and so encouraging.
Well, other people learn from those questions. Like in our class, a typical question will be, what's a leader and why do you need it? The why is, once you learn why you're doing what you're doing, then you can think on your own.
So for those who may not know, and I'm sure probably everybody that's listening knows, but just for the heck of it, what's a leader and why do you need it, Betty?
Well, a leader is at the end of your line to prevent chafing for fish that have gills and teeth. And then the other question is, well, why don't you just put the leader on the whole reel? Why do you have to take time tying those knots? And that's because the leader is thicker, heavier material, and if you wound the whole leader on your reel, you wouldn't have enough distance for the fish to run.
So these are some of the things that ladies can learn and have a better understanding. And once they have a better understanding about it, it becomes something that is quite enjoyable from my experience, something that's quite enjoyable for them. And you're absolutely right. Women definitely ask a lot more questions than men and more detailed. I think that's just the way women are wired. They're inquisitive, and once they figure out what it is they want to know, they're straightforward and okay, how do I do this and why do I need to do that and that kind of thing. So here's somebody that can offer all those answers to you. Betty Bauman with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. The website, Betty, what is the website?
It's www.ladiesletsgofishing.com. We're headed to Treasure Key, Abaco, Bahamas for our trip this week.
Ooh.
And we're looking forward to having an exciting time there. And then We have June 21st to the 23rd, our Keys fishing and some fun prizes. Then September 7th and 8th will be in Tampa. And then the grand finale, October 18th to the 20th, that's our Keys weekend with a full day of classes and instruction.
If they want to get involved, just to get an idea, what is a typical cost to do something like this?
They're all over the place. I mean, surf, could be $49, $55, $89. The last one of the year is the most expensive, so that's $125. Mm-hmm. And then the fishing charters, like Fort Lauderdale half day was $145, or we had the party boat auction for $55 in the Keys. Party boat option is about the same, but of course the sport fishing charters were going to stay out longer because you have to go out to get those offshore fish. Mm-hmm. So they could run over $200, but they only have to pay for their spot. We put them, those charter boats are thousands, we put them on the boat and they just pay for their spot and their tip.
That's great. So it can run anywhere for as little as $49 and on up. Depends on how sophisticated you want to get. But for as little as $49, am I right? You can get involved.
Right. And they don't have to fish, but I highly recommend it because that's, once you've learned, it's like going to the country and speaking the language. Mm-hmm. You embed what you've just learned by going and doing it.
We call that OJT, on-the-job training.
Right. It's immersion. You need to immerse yourself. And that's, because if you don't practice it or do it, it's like a language. If you learn it and you never use it, you won't remember it.
That's absolutely true. I knew a couple of languages at one time, and down to one. So I know, if you don't, it's just like it's very similar to a muscle. If you don't lose it, it'll atrophy, and you'll lose the mass, and before you know it, you won't have any muscle at all left. So it's something
fishing has its own language too. It's very simple. J hooks look like a J, circle hooks look like a circle, but it has its own language, and you need to learn it.
And when you have someone like Betty or Pam that's willing to sit down with you and like Betty mentioned earlier, the questions, there's no question that's too silly for them. They're willing to listen to whatever it is that you might be curious about. So I highly endorse it. It's something that I would promote, and you see that I do because I have Betty on we have you on typically once a month, sometimes twice, depending upon what's going on. Because this is something that is important to me. This is a way for families to build the bonds together and get away from all the saturation of the technology and enjoy what God has given us. My gosh, we've got water, three sides of the state. It's pretty difficult to go somewhere and not run into some kind of water, and to be able to enjoy that, This is one of the ways you can do it. Ladies, let's go fishing. Thank you, Betty. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Go ahead, Miss Pam. All right, my friends, it's that magic time. We've got to take a break, but it won't be long before we're back again. This is the Fish Florida Show this morning with Riscala and Pam, and it's that magic moment.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then,
Listen close to this announcement. Leiza Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Leiza Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Leiza Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@leiza-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Leiza Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It's the Fish Florida Show. Good morning to you if you're just joining us. A happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful moms out there. And if you have a mom and she's still around, give her a hug and a kiss. Tell her you love her, because mine is in heaven and I miss her greatly. And, there's going to come a time when there's you're going to have to say until later. So if you've got them around, I love you, and a big hug. I'm sure will put a big smile on their face. I hope you treat them like the queen that they are, because without them, where would we be? Wouldn't be much of a human race without moms, I'll tell you that. And this morning I have Pam Wirtz. She's one of the top female kayak anglers. She's always so kind with her time and generous and sharing her knowledge with us. A happy Mother's Day to you as well, Ms. Pam, and thank you for joining in this morning.
Thank you so much, Riscala, and thank you for inviting me on. I enjoy this program greatly.
Well, I do enjoy having you on. What's the plan for the day? Are you going to get the royal treatment?
Well, to be honest, I have a little house cleaning. As you know, I've been out of the country and away for a while, so I do need to take a little bit of time. So instead of fishing today, I think I'm just going to putter around the house. I've got some of my tackle that I need to kind of clean up and straighten up. So it's just going to be kind of that kind of day, just chilling and hanging out. My son and my husband are doing a big barbecue this afternoon, so that's going to be yummy. I think I got some tuna on Friday when we were offshore fishing, so I think I'm going to grill that up too. So I think it'll be a surf and turf kind of day.
Yummy, yummy. Well, it looks like from the time I looked at the radar earlier this morning until now, we have some weather that's building up, and it is kind of heading our way, but it doesn't look like it's going to be here for a while. Right now, it appears to be up just at the very edge of Florida, up near the Panhandle, kind of moving down our way. Some of it's going to hit you, and I think eventually it's going to hit the East Coast as well. Looks like it could be a front. I'm not looking at the verbiage. I'm looking at the actual picture. The weather forecast for today, according to NOAA, is that winds will be approximately 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be about 2 feet. The intercoastal waters will have a light chop. There is a chance of thunderstorms later in the day, which is we're getting into that cycle now, the summer cycle where it gets really hot and we have the humidity coming in off the ocean and feeding the clouds. And before you know it, one moment it's nice and sunny and the next moment it's the end of the world. With heavy-duty thunderstorms. So later on this afternoon, there may be a chance of thunderstorms. Just be aware of that. Other than that, here in Palm Beach County, anyway, the county reports that there's a moderate risk of rip currents. This is one of the things you need to be aware of when you go out to the beach. If the bigger the waves, the more danger that there is. It's a lot of fun being in the waves, but remember, with all that water coming in, it's got to go back out somewhere, and they call that the rip current. You get caught up in that, it's pretty scary. If you do happen to get caught up in it, what I've done and what I've been instructed to do is just swim parallel to the shore. Swim, don't fight the water. You're not going to be able to, I laugh, but it's a serious thing. You don't try to fight it. It is extremely powerful. Go with the water until you'll find a point where the water will let up a little bit, and especially if you swim parallel to the shore, you'll get out of it, and then you'll be able to get back in. First of all, if you're just aware of it, you don't want to get caught up in it, and you can avoid the whole thing altogether. They're also saying that there's some man-o-war present out there, so just keep your eyes open, enjoy the water, but you don't want to get stung by one of those little boogers. That's pretty tough.
For people who don't know, a man-o-war looks like a semi-blue floating cellophane, blown up cellophane bubble.
Almost like a shell,
like that.
Right? Almost like a conch.
No, it floats on the top.
Yeah. But it looks, in appearance, it looks almost like a conch shell. It has the shape.
But it's semi-transparent.
Yes.
And
looks like it's not even real.
Light. I don't want people to think it's on the bottom.
Yeah, no, it's not. This is something that's floating on the top of the water, but it has the shape of to me, it has the shape of almost like a conch shell. And you look at it, it looks almost like it's plastic. It doesn't even look real.
Right.
But my goodness, it has these tentacles that sometimes can be a foot and a half long. So you don't have to be right next to it. You can be a couple of, a foot away from it, and this thing's got tentacles that come out, and they just rub your skin, and it's like fire. Oh, it's like somebody literally took something that was on fire and laid it on your skin. It is pretty heavy-duty stuff, so you want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, a little bit of sometimes vinegar or alcohol will help take out the sting. But and if you have allergies, if you're allergic to bee stings, things like that, today may be a day you just want to stay on the beach, just to make sure.
Yeah. They sneak up on you. Well, fortunately, they are on top of the water, so you can see them, and they're very what's the word I'm looking for? Very easy to spot. But you just don't want to get too close to them because they can. And also, the other thing is you might see them on shore, and then some curious little child or something wants to, because it is a curious looking thing. It looks like it's plastic. It really does. You can see right through it. And a child gets curious and wants to go, pick it up or something. It's not going to be a pleasant experience for that child.
Yeah, even if somebody popped it, those stingers last forever.
They may be on shore. They may sit there for hours. The poison is still in the tentacles and these things that these little legs of theirs that come out. So you want to try to avoid them at all costs. Otherwise, you can have a great time at the beach. In all the years that I've been to the beach, and I've visited various beaches all around here in Florida. I think one time was the only time that I really had a bad experience on the beach itself, and it was somebody that, again, wasn't paying attention. They got wrapped up with one of these guys, and it was a rather large one. And they got pretty badly stung up, and it's extremely painful. It really is. It's a very, very painful thing. If at all possible, you want to avoid it. But again, out of all the years I've been, it's been one time. So it's not something to be afraid of, just something to know about, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just be aware of it and try to avoid it. And if you've got kids with you, let them know ahead of time to look for it. Not to be afraid of it, but to look for it and avoid it.
Yep, knowledge is the greatest thing that you can, you see this thing, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Go away. My goodness. Well, let's see. What else can we discuss this morning while we have got a couple of extra minutes? I wanted to...
Well, I'm headed up to Crystal River next weekend. The IFA, the Inshore Fishing Association, their first tournament on the West Coast was supposed to be in Ruskin here in the South Tampa area. But because of the no harvest ban that we have in this area, at last minute they moved it up to Crystal River. Now, I've never fished that area in my life, so this could be pretty interesting. This is going to be an all-out, oh my gosh, where do I even start to look for words? So I'm going to spend Friday, Saturday, and then the kayak tournament is Sunday. Boats go out Saturday. So we'll see if I can even catch a fish up there.
So when you say Crystal River, I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar. Is it actually a river, or is it a bay, or what? Is it?
It's got a few rivers that run through it, but it's just a town. It's like Sarasota or Fort Myers.
Yeah.
It's a town
just called
north of Homosassa.
Okay. And typically,
so it's up on the West Coast.
What are you going to be catching? What do you think?
Well, on the IFA for the boaters, it's always 2 redfish. They have to be slot. And it's the heaviest 2 redfish win in the boating division. So again, that's why the guys have got to be able to call, C-U-L-L. That means to be able to bring the fish on board, keep it in your live well, keep it alive, because they are all released at the end of the tournament. There is a big penalty if your redfish should die. And on the boater side, the 2 heaviest within slot, which is 18 to 27. They win the tournament. On the kayak side, since we really can't call, we can't really bring the fish back in, what we do is we accumulate the inches of your biggest redfish and your biggest trout. And you add those 2 together, and the person that has the longest inches of the 2 fish combined is deemed the winner.
What kind of prizes do they get?
It's cash.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Yeah, on the boater side, it's thousands of dollars.
My goodness.
The kayak side, it's usually, like around $1,500, $1,800. It just depends, how many categories you win. Because you have the, you have the overall winner, and then you have biggest trout, and you have one for biggest redfish as well.
Wow.
And there's a youth division. They do have a youth division also.
So typically, I want to go back to something we spoke with Leiza earlier. She has tagged some fish. Are they in the area where you're going to be fishing?
There is possibility to get a tagged redfish. If you catch it early, I think there's Costa, or Yeti has a $1,200 worth of prizes that you could win. But her tournament does not start until Memorial Weekend, which is
I see. Okay. What a bummer that would be, huh?
It goes from the end of May through around the 1st of September.
What a bummer that would be. You're involved in this tournament, and you end up, because the tournament's looking for redfish, you end up catching a tagged redfish, but the other tournament hasn't started yet. You just gave up a, gosh, what did you just give up? It could be a truck. It could be a boat. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, and that area has, Crystal River is one of those areas that has extra redfish.
Oh, wow.
So I think there's 8 in that area instead of 4, 6 or 8 or something like that instead of 4.
Yeah.
So it does have more redfish than other areas.
My goodness. All right. Well, it's that magic. This is what happens when we're having a good time. It's that magic moment. We're going to be up for the last portion of the show, so please don't go away. I'm going to take a quickie, and we'll be right back.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Leiza Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscola Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you. every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
It is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to be with you. I am amazed at how fast it has gone this morning. It seems like we just started just a few minutes ago, and we're already at the last portion of our show. Thank you, each and every one of you who take the time to listen in, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. For me, it's always a learning experience, and it's just something I look forward to every week. There's several ways that you can listen to the show. The easiest way, believe it or not, is we have an app that you can download. It's the Fish Florida app. You can go to any of the major stores and you can find the app there. It is absolutely free. I think something that really perturbs me is that people will say, oh, it's a free download, and then you go download it and only to find out, yeah, it was free to download, but now it's going to cost you to use it. Our app is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything. It got to be so expensive to make this app and to continue with the upgrades of the app that we actually looked at the possibility of having to charge for it. But Victoria has decided that she wants to provide a real value to people, and in doing so, she's made it available to people for free. So one of the ways you can listen to us is on the app. Another way you can listen to us is if you go to Facebook, you will find the Fish Florida page there on Facebook. Click on Contact Us. That will get you to the live streamer. Another way is if you are somebody who, for whatever reason, are having a problem with data, but you have unlimited calling, you can actually call in to listen. You won't be able to speak with us, but you can call in to listen. That number is 701-719-9704. And a big thank you to Late Night in the Midlands. That is the network that allows us to do this every time. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. So a big thank you to them as well. My co-host, Pam Worth, she's one of the top female kayak anglers. Thank you, Miss Pam. A happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for the invitation. I always have a good time here.
Always enjoy having you on. And my next guest, who has been kind enough to actually co-host for me, that is Angelia Coniglio. I don't know why I have such a time with that name.
Very good.
She's also known as the Florida Salty Cowgirl. Happy Mommy's Day.
Thank you very much, Riscala, and happy Mother's Day to you, Pam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So how is it?
On my way out to the water to meet the family as we speak. So.
Oh, where are you headed?
Wow. I'm actually lucky enough to be headed to Anna Maria Island. We spend the day at our little beach house there, and it's absolutely wonderful. So.
Oh, my. Now, is that
on... You're a stone's throw from me. Yeah, you're a stone's throw from me.
I'm not far from you at all, Pam.
How nice is that? Wow.
I'll get right into talking about the fishing because I was thinking about you this morning, Pam. I got a little message from Pete talking about how you had a little bit of difficulty with the trolling lures because of the amount of weeds out there. And I'll just tell everybody that is just a major issue for all of us trolling fishermen this year and for mahi season. The weeds are everywhere. No distinctive weed lines. They are just everywhere, Pam, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't a negative. It was like he didn't get it to me where I had it here in Tampa and could rig it up, so I was trying to rig it on the water, after he brought it to me. God bless him. He met us there like at 6 a.m.
And I saw the rig. It was wonderful.
And thank you so much for the outfits. That's very cool.
Oh,
I will bring one
my
back.
Pleasure.
But that was very, very cool.
My pleasure. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. That was an unexpected surprise, and very delighted. But yeah, he left me a couple to try. I am gonna rig one with a hook. I'm gonna play with it a little bit here in Tampa Bay, and then I've got an offshore tournament coming up on the 20th in Pompano. So that's when it's going to be put back to the test again.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, maybe it's a little easier in a kayak to kind of, guide yourself through these just massive weeds out there. But the sargassum growth has had record numbers in the last year. I've mentioned that before. And when I'm in a big boat and I'm trying to put out 5 trolling lines, it is virtually impossible. I've been experimenting with planers and weighted leaders and my downrigger, which I've never mastered yet. So anybody who has downrigger tips, I will take them. But yes, we've been experimenting with everything. And once you pull in a giant pile of weeds on your line about 20 times, you're so tired that when a fish hits, you're just tired. So I've been doing a lot of jigging out at the Islamorada hump, the 409 hump, the Marathon hump, and I've been doing a lot of reef fishing. And to tell you what, guys, the humps are just on fire. The AJs are coming up big. The tuna are coming up fast and continuous. And if you're into jigging, it's really fun. If you're not into jigging, I'd love to teach you. And it's just a really great, different way to fish. And then, of course, when we get lazy, we go up onto the reef and anchor up. And grouper season is on. So I'm always happy about that. And the grouper are coming up big, nice, steady, fat. Oh, yeah. I probably got my personal best red grouper in the last week, so that's really nice. You can check out my Facebook page for a big, pretty picture of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so the grouper's coming in great. As far as the mahi, man, the first round of mahi tournaments were not, the best, and they usually aren't at the beginning of the season, but the weeds are definitely making an impact. And what I've been seeing of the mahi, there's been a big one here and there, like that 63-pounder off of Stewart, I guess it was. But down in the Keys, they're still coming in 10, 15 pounds. If you get a 10 or 15-pounder, you're doing really, really good right now. They're there, but they're a little bit finicky, and they're not really big yet. So I'm hoping that the mahi start coming in bigger, and they're just the most fun things in the world to catch. So
that's my favorite.
Another thing that's going on right now is the tarpon's running really thick. So anybody who's into tarpon fishing under the bridges, man, tarpon are coming in 200 pounds right now.
Holy smokes.
There's some nice
Wow.
tarpon. Oh, yeah. Anybody who's, familiar with tarpon fishing, I do believe it's anything over 40 inches you're not allowed to pull onto the boat and take pictures with. They're just too big. You can't support their weight properly to release them safely and unharmed. So anything over about 40 inches, I think it is, you have to get into the water and take pictures with them. So anybody who ever wonders why these guys are standing chest deep in the water holding their 150-pound tarpon, that's why. It's just not safe to get them onto the boat that big and release them safely. So, but yes, the tarpon are absolutely on fire and absolutely beautiful. So tarpon fishing's on the Keys, guys.
That's such a great fish to catch too. That's amazing.
I tell you what, it's catch and release, and I have a lot of people say, anything they're going to fish for, they're going to fish to eat, and I totally respect that. But I'm a sport fisher, and there is nothing better in the world to me than just reeling in a giant fish that dances on top of the water, that's absolutely beautiful, and gives you that adrenaline rush for half an hour. I mean, there's nothing better than that for me. So I'm on the tarpon.
Wow.
I'm all about the tarpon.
So,
and it'll wear you out. You'll be. It's kind of like, I don't want to say this. It makes you feel good inside, and it also physically tires you out. So it's like a high. That's the best way I can express it. You just feel so great for so long. I guess that runner's high
for me. Yeah, the angler's not tarpon for me. I'm an avid sport fisher, a passionate sport fisher, and Pam, that's why I'm a sport fisher, because that adrenaline rush and that high that you feel, even with a nice big mahi, a nice big wahoo, a nice big kingfish. That's another thing. I probably hit my personal best kingfish this last week too, and I've caught smoker kingfish, and they're not called smokers because you smoke them. They're called smokers because they smoke your reel so hard when they run your drag out that it will smoke, and you.
Yeah. Them and wahoo.
I caught them and wahoo, absolutely. But the smoker kings, people think that's because you smoke them. No, that's because they smoke your darn reel. Exactly. And I've caught a giant one of those recently, and that's always fun. But yes, Pam, I think that's my entire draw to sport fishing. It's that whole adrenaline rush. It is an absolute natural high that fills your soul. It tires out your body. It's so rewarding when you're done and you put that fish back in the water after you take a bunch of pictures, man, you just feel great for a long time. And heaven forbid I get 2 or 3 of those fights in a day. I'm set. I'm good for a couple of days. I'm high. I'm happy. Y'all wonder why my smile is so big in all of my pictures? It's because that's how happy it makes me.
That's how she stays. She doesn't exercise. This is how she stays in shape.
Anybody who's watched my videos, I don't even know what I'm saying in the first few minutes after I land that fish. So I hoot and holler, and I say things that later I might be a little embarrassed about, but I don't care. I'm having a great time, and I'm so adrenaline rushed, I don't even know at that point. I'm just all on fire about that fish. And that's the draw of fishing to me. It's just a wonderful experience. There's not a better sport in the world as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, my first fish on Friday when we went offshore was a barracuda, and it's kind of a joke with me. The Bahamas, all I did was catch barracudas. It was crazy. So they nicknamed me kind of the Barracuda Queen. So when this one came up, Ryan Nelly started laughing. He goes, man, he goes, we have not caught a barracuda out here in a month. He goes, your first fish, 10 minutes in, and it was a monster. I mean, it was almost the size of a kayak. It's one of the biggest I've ever caught.
Wow.
And he goes, and he was teasing me. He goes, Pam, you're just wasting bait. I go, shut up. It's a good fish.
Well, I'll tell you a cute little story. I was, I've been fishing this long as I can remember, and I actually come from the central Gulf Coast of Florida. I fished off of Clearwater Beach for many, many, many years. I'm talking decades. So, I was a good bottom fisher, but I wasn't really experienced at the sport fishing. When I first got down to the Keys when I moved there, and we were doing a lot of trolling, I did like everybody else did and said, this is a little bit boring and blah, blah, blah. Well, my first giant sport fish was a barracuda. And it was longer than I am. I'm 5'5", and I tell you what, this fish was longer than me.
Wow.
It danced on top of the water. I fought it for 40 minutes. I was as high as I'd ever been in my life. And that is what spurred my sport fishing, Pam, a barracuda. And if you look at my pictures, I've caught giant ones. And sure, they're catch and release, and sometimes they take your whole leader, and they're a pain. But if you're on them, man, that is the most fun fish ever to catch. Those are really fun.
That is a seriously.
Eat them. If you eat them, then I don't. That's your own thing. But yes, the tug is the drug, and those barracuda are fun to catch.
I've heard that they're not. You have to be careful with them if you eat them. Is that right? That they have a poison or something in them?
I've heard my entire life that they were poisonous of some sort. Now, a lot of the boats will keep the smaller barracuda for people that come and get them, and there are a lot of people that do eat them. I am not sure how they cook them, and I've had zero interest in eating them myself. I always say there's too many good fish in the ocean to mess with the ones that are a little bit, iffy.
Yeah.
But yes, people do eat them, and what I do know, Riscala, is that the very big ones, like these 5-footers I'm talking about, those you cannot eat. Those, whatever it is in them that makes them a little bit scary, a little bit iffy, once they get really big, they're absolutely out. Those get released so that another fisherman can catch them later.
They are a seriously scary-looking fish, boy.
Yeah, the Bahamians take a piece of meat and put it next to a fire ant hill, and if the fire ants eat it, then they know it's okay. If they leave it alone, they don't eat that.
Wow.
Well, Pam, the fire ants eat a lot of things that I wouldn't. So. I kind of call myself a fish snob.
Excellent
in my youth, when my husband turned 25, I threw a great big giant fish barbecue for him. And being 25 and us being young and not a lot of money, I had a great big giant snapper that I put in the oven and stuffed. But a lot of the other fish I served, I called silver snapper. And they were little, the little 3.5, 4-foot barracudas.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Silver snapper.
Yeah, they're delicious. People love them. Oh, man, this is so good. I'm going to ask the guy to get me silver snapper next time. I go, yeah, you do that.
That's great. I love it. That's wonderful.
Well, ladies, I love doing the show, but the time just flies when we're having a good time. I'm just about out of time. Before I go, I want to give Angelia an opportunity. Now, Angelia is a guide. She's usually in the Keys. For Mother's Day, she's on the other side of the state today, but you are going to go back down the Keys, right?
Absolutely. Got to go where your mama is on, like, my son and my mother in the same spot. So that's absolutely where I'm headed right now.
So if you're down in the Keys and you're looking for someone who can show you how to jig, and that's one of her specialties, this is somebody that you can contact. She's a local, pretty much of a local down. Been down there for a couple of years now, so she's made herself a nice place down there. So anyway, if they want to get a hold of you, Angelia, how do they do that?
You can always find me on my Facebook page, Florida Salty Cowgirl. My website is being redone at the moment, but you can reach me through there at floridasaltycowgirl.com, and you can reach me at floridasaltycowgirl@gmail.com, always. So I always take questions. I love helping people out, even just with information about where to go and what to use and what to fish for. So I'm always open for questions too, guys. I give free advice.
Thank you. Thank you, Angelia. I greatly appreciate it. A happy Mother's Day to you. And Miss Pam, parting words before you go.
No, I just happy Mother's Day to everybody out there, and as I said earlier, any surrogate mother or surrogate, your best friend, an aunt, a sister. There's all kinds of truly inspirational women out there, and we celebrate you all.
I agree. I second that.
Thank you, ladies. Wish you a wonderful day. Again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. We'll be back in a week.
Tight lines.